Welcome, everybody, back to the Washington Wrestling Network podcast. I am Matt Beck. He is Sam Otto. Sam, can you let the viewers know? We got a new everything here. We're going live for the very first time with our new logos and our new branding. We are now Washington Wrestling Network. Can you talk a little bit about that before we bring on our guest?
Yeah. Where do I start? I don't know. We started this account as a rankings Instagram account, and it just kind of blew up. And then we had some meetings, and we grew our group a little bit. Brought some people on in the background to kind of re-envision this thing a little bit, because we aren't just rankings. We never were just rankings, months and months ago, and so we decided to label ourselves as a network, which includes this podcast, which includes rankings, which includes lots of all the stuff that is Washington wrestling. And so we are a network now. You guys have seen the new logo, and we put that on Instagram, put it on Facebook, put it all out on social media, and now we are the Washington Wrestling Network, and you're listening to the Washington Wrestling Podcast, which is super exciting because we are not we're not siloed into one thing. We are all Washington wrestling, overarching, and so we're excited to launch this and have Coach Greg Ford here with us for the first time as a Washington Wrestling Network, and here we go. This is it.
Yeah, let's hit our new intro right here. I'm pretty hyped about this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what?
Oh, yes. That was the new intro video. We got a lot of new stuff in here, but let's please welcome to the stage Coach Greg Ford from the Evergreen State College. Coach, how are you doing here tonight?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, I want to appreciate you guys just for, just doing this, man. It's huge just having a network that's promoting Washington wrestling. So hats off to you guys for doing what you do.
Hey, we appreciate that, Coach, and also, a little bit of prehistory that some of our viewers don't know. But we was talking to Coach Ford behind the curtain here before we went live, and turns out we may have started a war. Because we brought on North Idaho College first, which was Sam's idea. I mean, it was clearly all on Sam. And now I guess a couple of the wrestlers at the Evergreen State College texted Coach, like, Coach, what's going on with this? Like, hey, we're equal opportunity here. We're Pacific Northwest bred, but all of our wrestlers are hopefully funneling, home. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, who do you got over there on the roster this year as we kind of dig into a little bit about your school and you?
Oh, well, I have a couple guys who I haven't released as far as them being signings and on the roster. So I don't know if I should drop their names yet, but one I'm particularly excited about is a hometown boy, three-timer, and you will see him in the lineup for sure. But I
think I know who you're talking about, Coach. Maybe.
Wait, hey, you might not. I don't know. But as far as roster, we have some incoming guys that are going to be impact guys. We have some transfers that are going to be impact guys, and we have depth. So, with our year one guys, having that first year under their belt is huge, because that they're getting their feet wet. And a lot of people that don't know about the Cascade Conference in NAIA, it is extremely difficult. So because of how difficult it is, we have twice as many bids going to nationals. If you're getting out of our conference, you're placing at nationals. So having that opportunity to just learn, to just grow, and now be, I guess you could say, upperclassmen that are going to help show the guys the ropes. We know what that strength is like, what that speed is like, and now it's like, okay, now we can better prepare the next wave because we know what to expect. Versus coming in, kind of blind. We didn't We didn't really have preseason. You know, we started the program last year, and we're kind of like, hey, this is new. We don't know what to expect. Go, let's figure it out. So
Yeah.
a lot of trial and error, but you know, it's with a lot of transfer guys coming in with college experience. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Coach. That's kind of like, you know, the main plot of this podcast, I feel like, is a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about is Evergreen being a new wrestling school, right? You guys had just started last year, and you had all freshmen pretty much, right? Last year,
Yes.
wrestling, and starting a new program is very unique, right? To a head coach, right? So you're not only having to juggle, you know, what it means to be a head coach and just a wrestling program, you know, from day one, but also you're bringing in all of these new guys, and you have like this new program that is just getting started. So what was kind of the biggest challenges last year for you as far as that goes, of starting a new program? I imagine you already had those in your mind, that you already knew that it was going to be a challenge, but talk about your year one, and talk about how that transpired, and what and how it went about.
Well, I guess I would say first off, we want to thank Evergreen State College for at least giving us the opportunity to, you know, provide this platform for us to, you know, bring Washington wrestling and, you know, have a college team, and now a 4-year college team is huge. You know, we've had a lot of 4 years in the past, and, you know, they dissolved for whatever reasons, but bringing one back now is huge. And, you know, it's just the opportunities that are created at Evergreen because we're a state school, a lot of athletes are not aware of. But I would say, you know, the biggest thing that I would say that I did wrong last year was I went after a bunch of transfer kids that I knew wanted to come home, and they all wanted to come home. But if you don't handle business at your previous school, you know, I can't do anything for you. So, you know, it's learning lessons. You know, when it comes to college, recruiting is everything. You know, you can be the best coach in the world, but if you can't get the guys that you need, it's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
When you're dealing with programs that are established, that have been established for a while, they're deep in their roster. You know, lots of talent. And you're not saying that Washington doesn't have talented wrestlers, but you know, it is a battle. You know, when it comes to recruiting, it's whoever is going to give you the best offer in a lot of circumstances. So,
Right.
oh, you might think that you have a guy 1 week, and then the next week, you know, he changed his mind. So, you know, it's year one was, you know, getting our feet wet and kind of just, you know, you got to take your lumps. You got to take your lumps before you can give them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the class that we kind of have coming in now is, you know, they're freestyle guys, they're Greco guys, they're guys that like to grind and they want to battle. So, you know, those are definitely going to be impact guys. We're excited about some of our transfer guys that you guys probably know. Malachi Walway, he was a state champ from La Center High School, transfer from Waldorf. He's ready, he's hungry, he's coming back home with the expectations of, you know, qualifying for nationals and getting on the podium. Another big name kid coming out of Washington, Hunter Sonnenberg, transfer from UMary. He's a D2 transfer. You know, happy to be back home. You know, the big thing is now that we have this, you know, this team in Washington, athletes are like, man, I want to come back home. I want to wrestle in front of friends and family. That's huge. You know, having that hometown crowd behind you is big. And you know, with our team just growing and, you know, having more studs coming in on our roster, it's going to be fun.
Well, let me tell you something, Coach. You know, if there was a 4-year school available for me back in my day, I absolutely would have gone there. I mean, I was trying everything I could to get, you know, to Highline or Yakima Valley back in the day, and it's like, you know, you didn't hear incredible positives pretty much on and any one side as far as incredible positives, but having a 4-year degree is something that I know that a lot of kids would have, you know, happily moved over to the NAIA school. And Coach, can you talk a little bit about the Evergreen State College? Where are you located?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where,
Yep.
you know, some of the things about maybe cost to get to the school, or what do you think about yearly costs, stuff like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's dive into it. So first things first, we're in the state capitol. So we're in Olympia, Washington, not far from the Capitol building. Beautiful, beautiful campus. Campus sits on 1,000 acres. It's pretty much embarked in all forest. Nothing but trails, land, and resources on campus. So what I would say was most lucrative about Evergreen State College is we have what you call the Washington College grant because we're a state school. So athletes that have financial aid, if you get a Pell Grant, you're getting a Washington College grant. You're getting bridge grants, you're getting tuition grants, you're getting all kind of assistance to help you get to school and succeed. And that's before I even do anything on my end. So our guys, it's like, hey, you just need to come here, pass your classes, work out hard. Everything else is pretty much getting taken care of. So that's huge. On top of that, having a huge campus, we have solid facilities. We've got a decent sized wrestling room. Our wrestling room sits with a little over 2.5 wrestling mats. I don't know if you guys know about that grant that got pushed through, but that allowed us the opportunity to buy even more wrestling equipment that we didn't have last year. So we now have more wrestling specific equipment. On top of, we have weight rooms. We have multiple weight rooms. We got a CrossFit room. We got an indoor and an outdoor rock wall. We got a big giant pool that is a lane short of being an Olympic sized swimming pool. We've got a lot of resources there.
I'd have been there, Coach. I'd have been in the pool. You wouldn't have been able to get me out of that pool. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, Coach. We got a couple questions for you here.
Oh, yep.
You have any Oregon kids up there at Evergreen?
Yes, sir. One being DeMarcus Scott. He's a native kid that has been wrestling for a long time. He's got a family of wrestlers. Dad wrestled, his brothers wrestled, and he's hoping to come in and make a splash here at Evergreen State College.
And then I got another one for you. Is there a schedule so we can take the kids to watch them wrestle? And I want to I want to use this to very shamelessly plug the fact that we are doing a huge event at Tahoma High School. You guys versus NIC, and we're going to be there live, covering the match live. There's been nothing done like this before. We are absolutely shooting for the stars, trying to land on the moon. Can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, there is going to be a schedule, right? That's going to be on the website, but November 8th here in Washington, huge duel. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So first things first, like I was saying earlier, that we have a new SID. So, he's finalizing schedules right now and putting all the graphics and all that cool stuff on them so we can have those poster-like schedules. But yeah, NIC. So Derek Boo, I've known Derek for a little while now. Me and him, we talk, and not just for the competitive nature, but yeah, he does have a lot of Washington kids, and at the same time, there are 2 years. So when those guys graduate, it's good to have those relationships with those JUCO coaches, because that also becomes a pipeline for you. So I do talk to him about some of his guys. Hey, how are their grades? What kind of characters they have? Because those are guys that I would absolutely pull over, when they're done at NIC. So hats off to Boots. He's doing a good job over there, and we look forward to even adding some of those guys to the roster. So yeah, it'll be a friendly competition, but at the same time, we are working with each other, and he does have a lot of really good Washington wrestlers on his roster.
Yeah. And we're going to be there Friday night, November 8th, Tahoma High School, which is a big deal. We talked to Coach Booth in our last podcast about the lineage through Tahoma that he has. Coach Feist, the audio video production team, and a lot of people there at Tahoma High School. Very happy with us and working with us, and we're going to put on quite a spectacle. I think it's going to be pretty nice. And I think, for these kids, it's something to see the work that we're trying to put in to try to do exactly what you're doing, Coach Ford, and continuing to build the state and stuff like that. But can we talk about some of your accolades or what you've been known for? So you're returning to Evergreen this year for your second season as head coach.
Yes, sir.
You coached at Lincoln High School from 2012 to 2016. You've coached 15 state placers and 1 state champion. 7th in state as a team in 2017, and you served as the juniors director for the Washington State Wrestling Association from 2018 to 2023. So what was the process like when the Evergreen State College decided, oh, we want to get a wrestling team going? Like, how did your name, get into that mix? Did you approach them? I mean, how'd that work out?
Yep. I would say actually, it was a bit of a process. I actually came in on the second half of it. So, Coach Fon, I don't know how many guys know Coach Fon, but he is, I would say he is a legend. He definitely won't tell you that, but he's multiple time Asian Games champ. The guy is legit. But him and John Lane also, he's been around Washington for a lot of years. And they actually started first with, just planting the seed. We're planting the seed, and we're trying to talk to the right people. And then, because of the relationship that I have with Coach John and Coach Fon, they're like, hey, let's bring Coach Ford in so he can help, with this proposal and whatnot. And, make a long story short, they just thought that it made sense. And there were some alumni and some donors that got behind it, and they're like, hey, let's fund this, let's see how it's going. And now it's just we've got a ton of kids that are at the school now, and the enrollment is taking a huge spike, obviously with the additions of not only just wrestling, but we added cross country, track and field as well at the same time with this proposal. So there are a lot of student athletes on campus right now. So, President Carmichael and President Gordon, they are extremely excited about the growth of the school, and not only just the growth, but the success that he thinks is going to follow with the athletes that we're bringing to the school.
Coach, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like, and I don't know how much I know that you were approached to be the head coach there, but what we want to do is to add more programs to the state, right? And you guys doing that was a huge feat to be able to get a program added after almost all were gone.
Yeah.
And now that we got you guys and Big Ben back, is there any advice that we can give to some other folks out there to get another program started?
I would say the biggest thing is you have to look at the numbers. I don't think that a lot of schools take into consideration the number of wrestlers that leave Washington and go to other schools, and how many dollars are spent at other schools versus them, staying home. And a lot of it, it's sad to have some of these conversations with athletes that are just like, oh man, coach, I know you, I really want to come back, I really want to wrestle. But the ugly truth is, a lot of times when you go out of state, you have out of state fees now. And your tuition is doubled, you have room and board, you have all these different fees that are added up. And not only do they add up, when it comes to leaving and coming back, it's like, oh hey, you have a balance now. And it's like, young man, I like you, but I can't do anything with you until you take care of that balance. I can't get your transcripts. It's a lot of things that I think that we are not educated on coming out of high school. And, like if we as coaches, as teachers and professors, if we can do a better job of educating our athletes before they go and sign somewhere, because, we just look at the number. Oh, coach, I got offered a $20,000 scholarship, but your tuition is 40. But it sounds good that you just got offered 20,000, but they don't look at, oh, it's 40,000 just for tuition, and then another 15 for my room and board, and then my meal plan, and then my books, and now we're like, holy smokes, I'm in a lot of money.
So the good pitch is an affordability aspect to it, right?
Affordability is huge. I mean, you're looking at a 4-year, and our tuition for the year is $8,500 for the year. So when you start comparing those numbers to other schools, it's like, oh man, that makes sense. Yeah. But it's I'm I'm not the guy that was behind, pushing the bill that went through that got us the grant money and everything. Cause he's the numbers guy. He's the analytics guy and all
Right.
of that. So he actually has all of the numbers and the millions of dollars that are going to other schools because so many of our athletes leave and go to different schools. So,
Yeah, but it sounds like the big pitch to make that go forward to the people who are in charge is the huge thing is affordability. People staying home, having in-state tuition, and you're talking about numbers. You're talking about participants. You guys have a women's program there too, as well, right? So
Sam, you blew the wad on the question.
Oh man.
Geez, Sam, like you blew the wad on the question. Washington girl wrestling is so good. Is there a girls wrestling program as well? Sam leaked the information. Coach Ford,
let Coach Ford have it.
Yeah, can you speak about the girls program there?
There is a girls program. Again, that's led by Coach Fonzang, and John Lane is the assistant coach there. Big shout out to Jasmine Parker Barrero, because she is now the first NAIA All-American for Evergreen State College. She did her thing last year, also returning, also has 3 more years of eligibility, but multiple national qualifiers for the girls team. So, the girls is a little bit different when you come to, the boys side of things, but, at either way, it's still an excellent feat with the amount of success that they found last year. And there are some absolute buzzsaws that have been added to their roster this year. So they're going to be even better, looking to make an even bigger splash this year.
Yeah, that's really phenomenal. I mean, obviously, anytime we can support our women in wrestling and just growing the sport in general. I know Sam's got a niece that's hopefully on her way to a 3-time state championship here, coming in, and maybe we could get on the recruiting trail early for this girl. Coach.
Yeah, no kidding. I just saw Zeta in the comments, and she's going to Evergreen, right? So yeah, that's awesome, man.
Zeta, what's up? Thank you for the comment. We appreciate that. So Coach Ford, you always thought about being a coach. I mean, when did that click? I know for me, I coach at Everett High School, and Sam is at the competitor school, which we don't talk much about that in this podcast, but I always knew. I mean, I was a junior in high school, and I told my coach, I'm going to coach this team one day, because I just love coaching. It's always been a passion of mine. Is that the same way for you, or did that click to you at some point?
I feel like certain people are born to do certain things. Some people are born to lead, and others more so follow. And I've been blessed with the ability to connect with athletes, and to get them to reach their full potential, and not only just that, but just always kind of trying to lead athletes in the right direction. And even with my club alone, we've got well over 50 kids that are wrestling in college all over the place. So now having a college in Washington, all those kids are not all over the place. So yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I got kids that I've had since they were in middle school. Now I'm like, oh yeah, let's get you over here. But we've had some kids that are so good that they get D1 offers, they get other offers that they just can't pass up. So yeah, we definitely want to try to keep all of the best wrestlers in Washington, but it's a bidding war, like we discussed earlier. And, I never have any hard feelings with any athletes that go to other places, because, sometimes it just doesn't work out. They may leave, and then if I close that door on them, they don't feel like they can come back. So, it's always, in any new coaches, especially in college, it's like, hey, you always wish those athletes the best of luck, the best of success when they leave, because you never know when they're going to be reaching out to come back. And so, having healthy relationships is very important. Having healthy relationships with the high school coaches is even more important. That I've been blessed enough to be, on the national coaching scene for a while. So having those hands-on, relationships with athletes, and them knowing that, oh, okay, coach knows what he's talking about. I can trust him. He's not leading me wrong. that helps me when making that call to get a kid on a recruiting visit and showing them around and tours and whatnot.
Yeah, and coach, what's the bag like in the NIL budget there?
Okay, so when you discuss NIL, the first thing we're taught is, hey, I can't recruit a kid using an NIL deal. If a kid gets an NIL deal when he's there, perfect. But I don't have any NIL deals that I can get. Hey, you come here and this is going to happen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the Great Wolf Lodge is over there. We could probably figure something out.
Yeah, the main
coach,
thing,
I got the big E on my shirt. You got the little E. But what is that? What is that? What's the I'm a seagull. What is that thing on your chest plate there?
Listen. That's a gooey duck. So guys are like, Coach, is that a clam? Is that
a snail? I thought it was a snail.
Listen, it's a delicacy. It's an expensive shell. So let's start with that.
Hey, there should be a gooey duck sponsor out there. We can figure that out,
I think so. The main thing, because I do get those questions a lot, and athletes are like, hey, coach, can you educate me on NIL deals and what that is? And, it's about promoting yourself. You have to build your own brand, and the amount of NIL deals that you can get is really endless. And, the opportunities are endless, but we have to try to get this generation to kind of get out of their shell a little bit and go talk to people. Because everybody,
they've got like really, a lot of these guys got popular Instagram handles. I mean, they can do a lot for a local brand, especially, hey, draw them out to the matches. Maybe we can get some, maybe we can have some flames like Iowa does or something cool like that. And we get people out from the community. I mean, hey, go out there and like you said, represent yourself, represent your town and your state, and go out there and win some matches. I think that'd be really cool to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, any time that you're finding any kind of success, that's gonna open people's eyes. And so the sooner we find success, the sooner more people start jumping on board, and they're like, hey, how can we help? How can we support? Those types of things. So that's why we're super excited headed into year 2. We have a lot of returners that are coming back. Some people just don't know that having that first year of college wrestling, when you come out of high school, depending on where you're at conference wise, you may have one tough match, a tournament, 2 tough matches, but you get to college and it's like every round is tough. And then that's different. Sometimes when you have certain brackets, you're like, oh man, this dude is a Fargo champ, this dude is a multiple time state champ, and you're just grinding. It's different. And it can be humbling, and learning that difference in strength when you're coming in as a freshman. I don't care what school you go to and you wrestle at. There are not any programs that have all freshmen that are coming in and dominating. It just doesn't happen. So getting those guys developed, getting those guys in the weight room, lifting the way they're supposed to be, so they can match the strength of these guys that have been in their bodies a little bit longer is huge. It's a different, even though it's only 1 more minute in the first round, 7 minutes is tough.
Right.
You're taken down and you're giving up 3 points on a takedown. You go feet to back, you're in a 7-0 hole as soon as you start. That does a lot to you mentally, where it's like, hey, I got to refocus right now. Hey, let's start with getting this escape, getting this next takedown so I can, get back in the match. So it is a lot of mental preparation with young athletes, because they're just not that mature yet. And so we have to, prepare those guys early and let them know, hey, you got to come in the match thinking that you can win if you're going to win.
Yeah.
That's huge. Just building that mental toughness in those guys and having them ready to compete at all times.
Coach, I want to keep talking about Evergreen being. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Evergreen.
Hold on, Sam. Coach is a little behind us sometimes,
he's
so
a little
relax.
laggy.
Give him a second to talk, okay? I saw him go. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, Coach.
So just in regards to last year, we hit that injury bug a little bit, kind of hard. One of our key guys, Julian Kennedy, who majored a national qualifier. Unfortunately, he posted his arm, being returned by the SFU kid and tore his UCL had to shut him down for the year. Another our heavyweight, Will Wilsey, who was beating ranked guys, had a shoulder injury, had to shut him down the rest of the year. So, our lineup slowly started to change due to some injuries, and some guys struggled in class. So, that's the ugly truth when you are on a quarter system and you have a season that covers 2 quarters. If you don't handle business that first quarter, you could get shut down in the second quarter. So, it's not just wrestling. It's doing the things you're supposed to do off the mat, getting the proper rest, getting the proper nutrition, and most importantly, handling business in the classroom. High school, we kind of get pushed through a little bit, especially if we're talented. And, we get to college and some kids struggle because they have poor time management skills. So the sooner that we can start adopting those habits and passing them down to the athletes that are in high school, the sooner they find even more success when they get to college.
Yeah. I know we're lagging a little bit here, Coach, but I'm gonna try and ask my next question here without cutting you off.
Yep.
So I want to still dive in a little bit to Evergreen being a new program and you entering your second season as a head coach there. What is your philosophy like? Because, I think of a new coach most of the time, right? And I mentioned this earlier, they're just taking over a program. Like Coach Booth, who we had on a couple of weeks ago, he's taken over a program that has a lot of success already. And he's doing a fantastic job of maintaining that and trying to propel that forward. But you are a new coach, but you're also starting a new program. How do you build that? What are some of the core philosophies, and what is your 5-year plan? Like, what does it look like over more of a 2 to 5 year thing, as opposed to a coach that's coming in and is taking over a program, as opposed to one that's starting anew?
Oh yeah, so building is absolutely 100% different than coming into an established program. So when you're building, you have to focus on a nucleus. You have to focus on athletes that have good character. You have to focus on depth. Depth is huge, because like I said, we were definitely bit by the injury bug last year, and sometimes the next man up is not ready to be the next man up yet. And so when we're building, it's really important that we get kids that can get it done in the classroom, the kids that wake up on time, the kids that are not late, the kids that when I'm not watching, I know they're putting the right nutrition in their body. They're not going out partying, they're not doing the things that a lot of college athletes decide to do. Wrestlers are known for being disciplined, but yeah, it is a ton of wrestlers that go to college and get caught up doing the wrong things. So having a core of athletes that know how to get it done in the classroom and know how to do the right things when they're supposed to. And we can't ask everybody to be a leader and to yell at guys and get them focused, but you can absolutely lead by example.
Yeah.
So, if we can get a bunch of guys that are headed in the right direction, and guys that are like, hey, this is what I want to do. I need to do everything possible to get to nationals. Then, that just starts to trickle down to the rest of the guys that maybe might not think that they're there yet, but if they got a partner that's there, that's focused, that's going to help elevate him as well.
Yeah.
You guys have dorm rooms there. Yeah. No. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, you should be able to help facilitate a little bit of that, trying to match, Coach, it's like, it's so flashing back in my mind listening to you, because I was that guy. I came in,
Yep.
I wrestled at a JUCO in Kansas, and I got there and our 125er got hurt. And I was in there, and Coach calls on me 3 days before. He's like, I know we were thinking about redshirting, but I think you're ready. And what do you weigh? I'm like, 38. Like, okay, 25 by Saturday, and it's Thursday. And I'm like, I think I could probably do it. But then it's like, but am I ready? And that's kind of the thing that I think a lot of people, it's not just kids in high school, right? Because they don't know what they're getting into. Even some of these state champs. I mean, Sam, you were a state champ. You went to Highline and you couldn't make the varsity team at 33, and you were coming in as a state champ.
Right.
And so it's like sometimes when you get there, you just or even just trying to get there is so much work, and kids don't understand what it's like, and should be listening to this podcast really specifically at what Coach Ford is saying. You could get a $20,000 scholarship for your first year. You make it through 3 months of school, 4 months of school, and all of a sudden you're ready to tackle the rest of it. And it's like, okay, well, we got to start making payments. You got to get a job. Oh, mom, how much are you going to contribute? Well, really, I was thinking about, I don't know, just sending you out there and we figure it out. And it's like, man, having a good coach that really, can help nurse you through some of this stuff. And I just think that, my problem was getting out of state. I'm out of state. I'm away from all my support system, and being home would just have really helped kind of, let's get everybody together. It's a community atmosphere, a family thing, kind of getting these kids through the first couple years. You had it real tough. Class full of freshmen, first year ever, and trying to navigate what it's like to get these kids up at 7 a.m. to go to school, or not enjoying your first year of college, with a bunch of upperclassmen, set the tone, and just a bunch of things. I can see this. So now we know what we want, right? We want kids that eat the right stuff, or the right kids. So let's talk about recruiting. I mean, how do you approach recruiting when you're looking for some of these guys? And obviously we want to know that, we obviously, you're a state champ, right? We're going after those guys. We're going after winners. We want to. That's the easy way to start, right? But talk about a little bit of the difficulties it is for now a new college coach, to recruit personalities that you may not know mesh well together. Maybe, you don't feel like they're going to help each other. Maybe you do. You just don't know. I mean, what's the recruitment process like for you?
Yeah. So, like we discussed earlier, being a national team coach helps tremendously because, I've run national team camps. I've seen how athletes deal with tough losses and how they grind through matches. So, that allows me to see right away, I know what kind of parents they have, what kind of homes they come from. That helps a lot. But then you have a whole nother wave of athletes that, when you look at rankings and stuff that you guys do, we're writing stuff down like, hey, I need to go see this kid. Let's watch some matches. Let's see, is he good on his feet? Is he good on the mat? There is absolutely an evaluation process. But at the same time, the kid that's the state champ might not have the ceiling as the kid that took second or third or fifth or whatever. So, at where we are, I don't believe in like only the champ is going to win. It is the athlete that is the most hungry, the one that's going to work the hardest, the one that's going to just look to get better any way possible, whether they're studying film, whatever they're doing. You see the guys that are doing the extra, the guys that are getting to the room early, the guys that are staying after, they're getting their extra lifts. They're calling guys, hey, let's go run. Let's get better. Those are definitely the guys that I'm looking for. And, I've been fortunate enough to, I can reach out to coaches and, I can make a call about a kid. Hey, tell me about this kid. I can call their club coach. Hey, tell me about this kid. What do you think? You think he's ready? I can bring him in because kids will lie to you. I will tell you, I've gotten some calls from some out-of-state kids, and I'm asking them, hey, run down a resume for me. Tell me some of your accolades. Oh, coach, I took third in Fargo, and I'm on the phone with them. I'm texting other coaches. Hey, this kid? Coach, he never wrestled for me. Oh, he said he took third in Fargo. Hey, young man, how come I can't find any film on you if you took third in Fargo? Oh, I don't know. Something must have been wrong with the cameras. Yeah, this is not the guy I want. Yeah, you didn't take third in Fargo, not in freestyle either. No. But so I definitely have to do my homework on athletes because, athletes where they will try to sell themselves. You have to do your due diligence. Kids like they got good accolades and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, you didn't tell me you just had knee surgery. You didn't tell me that you might not be a full go until 6-7 months from now, but you're like, hey, I need an offer now. So, you you definitely deal with a lot, and you got to get with your coaching staff, and you got to talk, and even sometimes when you have those leaders in the room, we have those discussions with those guys. Hey, what do you think of this kid? You wrestled him before. You think he's going to be a good fit here? So if it's not a good fit, it's not going to work. So you got to bring those guys in. You got to let them meet the athletes. You got to show them around. If they can, let them wrestle a little bit so you can see hands-on what they can do, what they're capable of.
Yeah, and fit, in my opinion, matters so much. I mean, I don't remember who we interviewed, but I think it was London. Yeah, London, Houston, how she moved. And she was like, well, originally I was thinking about here, and then I got, then I ended up here, but then I ended up going back here because I just felt it would, sometimes when you don't listen to your heart on some of that stuff. And I think that's why having a college in Washington State is going to be such a big deal for these Washington State wrestlers, because being home matters. It really does matter. The support system that you have no idea you're absolutely
100%.
losing, and then being able to, Olympia is a fantastic place. So you're kind of in the middle of a lot of, you can get to Everett if you had to, couple hours here, there, everywhere. It's like if you're in Oregon State, it's tough to come home. You're 7-hour drive or whatever. Coach, this is the cool part about this podcast. I really appreciate you allowing us to kind of pick your brain, because we really 40 minutes in, we haven't even really gotten into much of it, because it's good just getting to know you. And I'm already locking in with you right now. I think I got a girl that you would love here in a couple years that I would be really special for you guys. But here's a comment right here. And I know you don't run the girls team, but I think you can speak to a lot of stuff that has to do with just being at Evergreen. But as a father of a daughter who is starting her freshman year in high school and wants to wrestle in college, why would you suggest she look at Evergreen? ? Thanks for building a program, by the way. And I think it's really, understated. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because it's amazing. It was not offered when I was around. I would have been there. I would have been up your butt every day, Coach. I would have been like, hey, we're best friends now. we go to war. But let's answer this question here for this father of a freshman who thinks we're going to get to college.
Yeah. So most importantly, which often gets skipped over, is we have to be able to get it done in the classroom. And so often our athletes, they don't really take school serious until they get to their junior, senior year, and they've dug themselves a hole as far as their GPAs. And so, I personally went the NCAA route, so I understand the clearinghouse process. And, I had to do the SATs and have the high GPA and all of that stuff to get accepted. But we have a lot of athletes that are not educated on that process and think, hey, I have the low GPA, but I graduated, but I'm talented and I can still go there. And not knowing that, oh yeah, you're going to be on academic probation when you get here because your GPA is so low coming out of high school. So getting our athletes to focus on class, because we absolutely have academic scholarships coming in. Every athlete is just focused on, what can I get athletically? But there's way more academic money than there is athletic money everywhere. So don't just cap yourself on, coming in and trying to get athletic scholarships. If we can get it done in the classroom, that's bonus. Now you're getting academic and athletic money. So I think that's huge. So, back to her question, as a freshman, we're still kind of trying to figure out what we want to do. And so when you start looking at college wrestling, it's not just sport anymore. It's a job. And it's our job as coaches to recruit kids that are going to try to take your job. And so, you have to be passionate about it. You're not just there to be on the team. It's like, hey, I'm bringing you in here with the expectations of you're going to grind and you're going to try to win. You're not just happy to be on the team. You do have, you have those kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some kids are just happy to be on the team. But when you get to college, that it's a different animal. It's a different grind. It's rough. Even on the girls' side of it, the girls' matches at sometimes can be meaner than the boys' matches because they let a lot go. But as a father, I would say, you have to get her wrestling as much freestyle as possible.
Yeah.
Because you don't wrestle folk style in college when you're on the girls' side. And there's a lot of girls that are talented and they go to college, but they have very little freestyle experience. So the more that you can get that experience and the more that you can go hunt out the best girls in the state and get that high level competition and go travel and go wrestle those top girls, the more you're prepared for the college level.
And then what about Olympia? Sell Evergreen State College to somebody who's never been to Washington or even is in Washington but's never been around Olympia. I mean, what's the city like? What's there for people to maybe enjoy? Like when we talked to Coach Booth, he's like, hey, you're on the water out here in Idaho.
Yep.
It's a beautiful place. Let's talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, so let's dive into it. So first things first, the campus is amazing. So if you are into the nature scene, you will see deers walking around. They come up to the wrestling room, they look in the windows while we're practicing. The wildlife is crazy because I mean, again, you're in the middle of a forest.
Right.
So there's nothing but land and opportunity. But again, like a lot of people don't know, the school owns a beach too. There's a beach behind the dorms. There's all kinds of, if you like to hike, you got 3-mile trails, 5-mile trails, whatever, difficult ones. There's nothing but trails. If you like disc golf, we have a disc golf course on campus. You can play disc golf, pickleball, tennis, obviously, basketball, wrestling. The pavilion is amazing. The pavilion just got returfed. So it's a big open facility, solar panels on the roof, $15,000-$20,000 surround sound system on the inside of it. You want to put wrestling mats in there, you put wrestling mats in there. We've played flag football in there when we need to get a break off the mat. But the facilities are excellent. So as soon as you get off campus, you can go 10 minutes and be downtown Olympia. They've got all kinds of activities and whatnot for you. But we're pretty centrally located. And the cool thing is that a lot of people don't know is there are so many Evergreen alumni. We do a lot of cool things, like you said about NIL deals. We have a lot of endorsements. We did Tough Mudders as a team. We've done Spartan races, so I reach out to people that want to help with our athletes and, give us these opportunities to team build. But, I call a guy that runs the paintball shop in Olympia, and he's like, oh man, my wife is an Evergreen alumni. Hey, let's talk. Let's get your guys here. Let's do some fun stuff with them. Let's figure out how we can, come support you guys. So, it's definitely a lot of local stuff that you can do. I mean, there's golf courses, batting cages, all kinds of sports stuff, movie theaters, bowling alleys. That guys don't want to stay on campus. They definitely can drive 10 minutes and find something to do. There's waterfalls in Tumwater, which isn't far at all.
Yeah, well, and I tell you, that would have sold me because I was in Kansas, a lot of dirt roads. They didn't even have a movie theater in there. And basically all you did was, there was real cowboys. I'd never seen a real cowboy before. A guy pulled up on his horse to go to school. I was like, where? It was kind of a culture shock. But I tell you, I'm a city kid out in the country. But he says, thanks, Coach. Unfortunately, Oregon's freestyle and Greco programs are really lacking compared to ours. He's trying to help continue to build that up. Sounds like he's from Oregon. So thank you for the advice. And that's great because Olympia is a major, it's our capital, right? It's a major city here. And there's a bazillion things you could do. And then, like you said, any which direction you could go far and find whatever you want to do. It's like, there's nothing short of some great, amazing things. Now, let's talk about the facility a little bit over there. What about like on the sports medicine side? Do you guys have a big trainer's office? You guys have the hot tubs, the cold sinks? What do you guys
so we actually just we've just grew our athletics programs, and so we just expanded our training room. They knocked out a wall and they're like, hey, let's grow this. Yeah, we've got the ice baths, we've got all kinds of stuff. And so because we're a state school, they look at what we need. And so, after year one, they reevaluate, okay, now we got this many kids. So, the state takes care of us. Okay, they need more money for expansion. They need more money for other things. We've got in our locker rooms big giant saunas with 2 steamers that you can put 20 kids in the men's and the women's locker room. So, we definitely have, the resources to rehab our athletes if needed, or just for doing simple stuff like stretching and recovering our bodies.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to bat for you here, Coach. So my sister not wrestled. She played volleyball for Southern Oregon University, which is an NAIA school, and she came up and played volleyball in a match at Evergreen. It was my first time ever there. This was like 2010, 2011, somewhere in there, and my parents were driving me out there. I was ready to go cheer her on, and the drive from whatever main road it was out to the campus was unbelievable. I was like blown away. Exactly what you're talking about. You're literally in a giant forest.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's a beautiful campus. You guys definitely have that going for you as far as like the natural beauty and the recreation and all that stuff out there. I would be ecstatic to go out there and wrestle, just to be on a campus that's just in nature. You're close to the city, but it feels like a kind of a rural vibe where you have a lot of outdoor activities to do as well. So yeah, you guys definitely have that going for you. I want to transition a little bit to your upcoming season. We haven't even got into this at all. We're 45 minutes into this thing, and we got a season coming up. You guys, you're telling me over text that you guys are starting on Monday, right? You got practices starting on Monday, right? So let's start with your schedule. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Who are we facing? What's the schedule look like? And how's that all playing out?
Okay, so this is our approach to the season this year was we have to wrestle everybody in conference. So NAIA has bylaws, and in the bylaws you don't have to wrestle everybody in the conference.
Okay.
But when you get to the conference tournament, they look at head-to-head, common opponents, strength and schedule. And so if you don't have those things, you get a lower seed. You get a lower seed coming to the conference tournament. You could draw the 1 seed, the 2 seed right out the back. And, it puts your odds of getting to nationals a lot lower. So our main focus this year was, hey, we're going to go find and wrestle everybody. We're going to go to California first, because we're going to go there twice to Simpson, because the conference tournament is at Simpson this year. So I'm like, hey, we're going to go. That's going to be our first outing, is we're going to Simpson. SOU is going to be there, so we get a shot at SOU while they're there. West Cliff, who is a brand new program that just got added to the CCC, they're going to be there. So now we get a shot at the new guys while we're there, and we'll get to wrestle some tough, Cali JUCOs while we're there, and get the most bang for our buck. But yeah, definitely we're going after everybody. Corbin's on our schedule. We're wrestling Eastern Oregon University. We'll see Providence at the Spokane Open. They're there every year. So the only team we won't see is Embry-Riddle. They're out of Arizona. But other than that was of huge importance of us is, hey, I want to see everybody now, not when we get to the conference tournament and there's guys that we haven't seen wrestle. We don't really know what to expect other than watching film. The sooner we can get a shot at those guys, the sooner that we can prepare, to handle them in the conference tournament.
Hey, Coach, real quick, we're hitting that mark on Instagram where they don't allow us to go longer than an hour. The link is in our bio for our YouTube feed. So we're going to end the live on Instagram. And please, people, tune in to either our Facebook or our YouTube feed, because we're not done here. But we do appreciate the comments and tuning in. So thank you. I'm going to end that right now. And then, Coach, I got a cool comment here. Congrats to you and your program. I wrestled with your dad in college. Say hi for me.
Oh.
I coached at West Valley Yakima. You are welcome to come practice with us this winter and recruit. Look at us, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We're helping connections out here.
Coach Dave, I got you. All right.
Hey, talk about your dad real quick. I know your dad wrestled for Central, right? Is that right?
Yeah. My dad won a national title for Central and then took over the program. So, I was born, basically in the college room, and, working with college guys all the time as soon as I could walk. So, I kind of developed a different philosophy for wrestling versus a lot of people that kind of just grew up watching, kids their age. When you're watching high level wrestling all the time, that's what you're used to. you start emulating what you see, especially when you're young. So I had a much different mindset coming into college, having more of a cerebral side of it and understanding, what the score is at all times, what the score is in the match, how much time is left in the clock. So I had more of a coaching mind when I was young because of what I was watching. So
Yeah,
I
that's good.
definitely think that helped me a lot, coming up.
Yeah, that reminds me of so episode 2, we had Brian Owen on, and he grew up with a lineage of his dad was a legend at NIC, and now he's coaching. He's not coaching in college, but he's still coaching, and was the same thing. Like he grew up on the mats in Coeur d'Alene. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing, and then little bro too. I don't want to leave Marcus out. I remember back in the day, dude, because I think he was a year maybe older than me. I think he was right in between me and Matt.
What school was that?
I think it was a River Ridge, right?
Yeah. Oh, River Ridge.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Is he big guy?
Not
big
that
guy?
far from. He wanted at 45. He wanted at 52.
Oh, geez, double
yeah,
time?
2-timer.
Wow.
Yeah, he was nice with it. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, my brother's running my club. Whenever he can, he pops up to the college room and gets to work out with those guys as well. So, but he is a tremendous help when it comes to not only just running and managing the club, because that's also a pipeline for me as well. I don't have to worry about recruiting those kids so much because I know what they're doing. I know that they're handling their classwork. I know what they're doing on the mat. So, it's automatic that those guys are going to at least consider, coming over. And I know that what my brother's doing to develop them, to get them ready for, for college. So, him taking over that portion is, a huge weight off my shoulders.
Can we do a shameless plug for the Ford Dynasty Wrestling Club? Where is it at? What are you, when are the practices? How's that going?
Yep. 56 in South Tacoma Way. We got a corner lot that used to be a bank, but now it's been renovated to a nice wrestling room. But we're practicing at least 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Our little guys go 5 to 6. Our older guys go 6 to 8. They've got strength training they got to do, speed and agility training. It's more of a college prep club. So, our athletes are coming in with the expectation of making grades. If they're not, we've got study hall rooms that I will lock you in if you are not handling your classwork. And, they come to get developed and get better. So the success that we've had is, it's a lot of fun to see kids that didn't think that they had a chance at wrestling in college to, this is what I'm doing now.
Coach, who do you have that's in your club that we would know? My name that's popping off in my head is Hazel Soto, who from River Ridge, right? I think that kid's Hunter.
No, he's not in my club.
We need to go get him right at Evergreen.
And funny story about him. So I see him at a tournament and I'm like, hey man, what school you go to? he's like River Ridge. I'm like, oh, you go to River Ridge? He's like, yeah, who are you? And I'm like, oh, they got my pictures and stuff. You know what? Don't worry about it. He's a good kid, good talented kid. So, he's definitely somebody that'll be on our radar for sure when it comes to, him graduating and moving on to college, if that's what he wants to do. Not everybody wants to wrestle in college. So, having that conversation of, hey, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because it's not easy.
Yeah, Coach, I would even, I continue to advocate for you guys like heavy because kids just don't know what they don't know. And they are so stubborn. Some kids are like,
Parents
I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go I'm going to leave the furthest I can go out of state, then fall on your face because you have no idea what you're doing. It's like, man, the fact that we have a 4-year program in the state is so incredible. Just go. Evergreen State College, meet Coach Ford, get an incredible, acumen of wrestling, school, get it all, here, go home, see your family, bring the clothes with you, because you probably got to share the laundry at the dorms. Like, you know what I mean? Like, bring it home and have your mom wash it and still have a home cooked meal. It's like everybody should,
Absolutely.
even if you just think for a second you maybe want to go that route, you should absolutely be heading over to Coach Ford's team at Evergreen State College, man. In the next coming years, Coach, you should have buckets of wrestlers from Washington State. I mean, we really
It'll
should.
happen.
It absolutely will happen. I mean, there's no doubt about it that once you get out there. I want to ask about your assistant coaches. Who helps you run the team? What's that like?
Yeah.
Who is that?
So we have Saunders Freed. I don't know if you guys know him. He coached locally for a while. Oregon State alumni. Nice wrestling background. Very familiar with me. Coached my brother for some years in high school. Super reliable guy, and he's just all about building wrestling. How can I help? Whether it's making sure guys are lifting the way they're supposed to, just in their ear, whatever. Super supportive, somebody I can rely on and trust. Coach Tony Evans, that's my East Side guy. He went to Toppenish High School. Wrestled many years, wrestled in our conference. He's a teacher now. Super excited to just help wrestle the guys, do whatever is needed. Having that teacher mind, he's all about academics. Hey, we got to have the study halls. We got to make sure these guys prepared because we are not going to lose anybody due to grades. So, just having a solid foundation of guys that, coaches that feed off of each other. We all have, good relationships with each other. We share the same philosophies. We're just here to grow. Yeah, we got a couple volunteers, but those are my core guys that I can lean on to make sure that we're going to get to the next level.
And then, Coach, so are you going to be at the T-Dome this year, or were you last year? I mean, I would assume, but
yeah. So the way our scheduling is makes it challenging. We literally drove from Eastern Oregon all the way back, dropped the guys off, busted right to the Dome, just caught the finals. And so this year, with changing of dates and everything, it's definitely going to be a lot more challenging to make it to the Dome because our conference tournament is not in Oregon this year; it's in California.
No.
So we're not going to have the opportunity to just bust it over real quick as quick as we can. So that's when
Don't worry, Coach. That's when we come in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta have my list of guys that I'm interested in. The good thing about track wrestling and whatnot is the guys that I do want to see, I can always pull their matches up later. And just building those connections with athletes and reaching out to guys early. I'm not a hater, but I did lose some guys to Coach Booth that I was recruiting heavily. So I'm like, all right, Coach, you got him for 2 years, and then they're going to come back.
Yeah, I love Coach Booth, great guy, and I'm really excited to have podcasts with him. But 4-year, 2-year, with them, you got to pay your room and board. You only get tuition and books, right? That's your junior college, right? So. Hey, if we're juggling,
associates or bachelors, which one do you want?
Yeah. And like you said, and you were very humble in saying, hey, we still keep in touch with the guys we lose, because you're right. I mean, they leave there, maybe and hey, injuries happen, right? Some things like that. Kids want to come home. You just don't know what it is. So great. I mean, scorned are the coaches that, you're off my list because you decided not to come to my school. It's like, hey, we should be friends and grow the community no matter how it is. If you want to come wrestle for me, or if you want to, sweat with me, bleed for me, like I'm here. It don't matter who or where you are. At least that's how I feel. But I think it's great that you already came out and mentioned that. Hey, no hard feelings here. We're trying to build a program, and I hope that we can really become a part of it for you, because it's amazing what what we can now do, where we just couldn't do it before.
Yeah, and we have some media passes for state this year too. So Coach Ford, you have my number now. So let's stay in touch. If you guys are not able, your coaching staff is not able to be there, but you have a representative, from Evergreen State that we can get an interview on and keep promoting the program. We would love to do that for you, because we feel, we feel like, our duty as running this account and this podcast is to grow the sport within the state. And you and Big Bend are at the forefront of that right now. Right. So, we're going to keep this relationship going. And when we're at the T-Dome, we would love to be a helping hand when it comes to that, to get people, plugged into Evergreen. If you can't be there, I know we got the NAIA schedule is a little different than the JC schedule. That's unfortunate. But that's what this is all about, is maintaining those connections and collaborating with each other so we can get this thing moving for you guys. You're just getting started. So go ahead, Matt.
Absolutely.
A nice gooey duck polo would be nice,
Yeah. I'll get your sizes. We'll hook you guys up when I see you at Tom High School. I got you.
Okay, Coach. So we're at kind of the point where we like to, have some fun in the pod. Here's the thing: we're an hour in. I don't want to keep you forever. We didn't even get into a lot of it. I felt like a lot of this pod is like getting an entrance, getting to know you. We plan to bring you and Coach Booth on at the same time to promote the duel, and that's when you guys can get at each other's throats if you'd like. That'd be okay. A little friendly competition, right? But before we get into some of this fun stuff, I do feel like we didn't get into a lot of the stuff I know you probably even wanted to talk about. Maybe I could just give you the floor here for a couple minutes, as long as you need, because we're here for you. We're here to build the sport, just like you are. Is there some things on your mind about your team, about the city, about the towns, about the state that you want to say, in representative of the only 4-year program in the state of Washington?
I would just say, it's pretty cool to, have a home duel and you look in the stands and the president and vice president are sitting in the stands watching the match. The amount of support that the faculty is giving us is huge. And, and I'm finding out that, hey, one of the professors in the Native Pathways program, Corey Larson, he's an ex-wrestler. I want to say UT Chattanooga, he went. We've got, people in the cafeteria that are ex-wrestlers. So, they are super supportive, the media, the marketing team, shout out to them because, wrestling is also new to them. So they're learning, hey, what do you need? What can we do better? Having those conversations is huge, because when we entered year one, a lot of the staff didn't really know what to expect. They didn't really know our needs. They didn't really know that, hey, this is tough. We have to be in the weight room. We have to do the conditioning. We have to be in the cafeteria and eating the proper meals that we're supposed to be eating. Even when it comes to building relationships with professors, they don't understand, or they're learning to understand about our schedule, because it's only Big Bend in Washington. So that means that we're traveling. We're going to Oregon, we're going to Idaho.
Right.
And, because we're gone all the time, sometimes faculty may not understand that. So when we're building those relationships and trying to, teach our young athletes to, hey, we have to communicate with our professors early. Hey, let's give them a schedule. Let's invite them to the matches. Tell them to come watch you, so they can get a better understanding of what you're doing, and understanding the daily stresses as a college athlete of maintaining grades, making weight, competing, those types of things.
Yeah, stay in touch with us, because we'd be happy to help with that too. The NIC Evergreen Duel that we're going to be going to is going to be, I think we're going to knock it out of the park. I think they're going to have to call the fire marshal on that thing, dude, because it's going to be a spectacle. But
Tahoma says they're going to pack the house.
Yeah, well,
I believe it. I believe it.
And then, but just your guys' home duels and stuff as you're continuing to grow, Coach Ford. I felt like, because I went to Highline, I stayed home, and I made that decision just like I would have for a lot of your wrestlers, was like, hey, you know, I'm not leaving. I'm gonna stay home. And I felt in some ways that I just didn't get the support that, and it wasn't anybody's fault. It's just there wasn't a culture built around it to keep me motivated. And that's not for everybody, but like I loved having people in the crowd. I loved having people in the stands and stuff. And that's our job. And we're happy to help you with that. I gotta ask you, we're getting into some fun questions here, Coach. Let's transition into, like, we asked Coach Booth the same question. Your first year as a coach, what was one of like maybe the core memories that you had, like a funny moment or something that you had where you guys went out to eat or anything like that? Like, what do you got?
There's a few of those, but I'm not gonna throw any guys under the bus, but they're gonna know who I'm talking about. So for one will be we just checked in a hotel and whatnot, and typically when we get there, we're always checking weight first, and so after we check weight, it's like, hey, let's go get a team run, let's get a quick workout in and whatnot. And so we get back in the lobby, and I'm looking, and I'm like, hey, whose milkshake is this? And everybody's silent. I said, no, this wasn't here earlier. Whose milkshake is this? And so the young man finally comes and he's like, Coach, it's mine. And I'm like, well, what are we going to do with that? And he's like, oh, I was going to drink it. I said, you were going to drink a milkshake before you wrestled? And he's like, well, yeah, it's good. I said, you know what? This is what I want you to do. I want you to drink the milkshake. I want you to drink all of the milkshake that you bought, and I want to see how well you perform. And he's like, no, Coach, I don't think I want the milkshake. I said, no, you bought the milkshake. You should drink all of the milkshake, and let's see how you do when you wrestle. But needless to say, he decided it was a good idea not to drink the milkshake before he wrestled. But yeah, we have some characters on the team, man. That's part of growing up and learning, about decisions. Not everybody is super mature when they're in their first year, and trial and error happens. But trying to prevent that is more than a headache sometimes as a coach. And what if I didn't see it? I'm like, oh yeah, this is why you're wrestling this way, because you decided to drink a milkshake before the match.
Yeah, and this isn't no NAIA problem. Like, this is D.
No.
You could go to any D1 school. It's 10x this. You go to ASU and you can't struggle to get some of these freshmen even in the room sometimes because they're doing so much. So many milkshakes that it's like I can't even try today. So this ain't a unique thing to you guys. This is why it's cool to stay home, man. It's awesome because you can phone home if you needed to get home. You can say, hey, I'm struggling right now. I gotta come see you guys. Or hey, you can call parents. Hey, come help get this kid right. There's a lot of good successes we can have being close. Now you talk about milkshakes before the match, Coach, but what about after the match? You guys got a cheat dinner that we know, hey, we did the work, we came, we traveled, and now we're going to Hooters or something.
Yeah, so typically this is how we decide where we're gonna eat. Whoever placed the highest at the tournament,
nice.
We let those guys decide where we're gonna eat. So we try to have fun because wrestling is very challenging. So we definitely need to have some fun. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, let's go out somewhere. Let's put our feet up a little bit and let's eat as a team. So I think it's important to not try to individualize all of your athletes. Having those talks. Hey, get your headphones off. Talk to your teammates. Let's get to know each other. We are a family. We're gonna work hard together. We're gonna win together. We're gonna lose together. But at the same time, we are always going to support each other in what we're doing. So yeah, we go out to eat all the time. But I have had to choose some guys out because we've had guys miss weight. And sometimes a guy misses weight, and then that guy is asking me about, hey, Coach, what are you thinking about where we going to eat later? And then they see the crazy side of Coach because I'm not happy when you don't make weight, and then you're focused on where we're eating at before we've even wrestled. So it's a learning experience, and when you are no longer in high school and you are an adult, the conversations change a little bit now that you're an adult.
I love that. I love that picking the person who placed the highest, or that's a good one. I think all coaches should live by that.
What's the craziest place though, Coach? Like, where's the?
We haven't really had too many crazy places. College athletes drop ideas sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we ain't going there.
We're trying to, yeah. we'll leave that to you guys' imagination, but
yeah,
we at least try to go to some good places and go to different places. We don't just go to, well, we're gonna go to McDonald's or we're gonna go to Applebee's. It's like, hey, let's go try something else. We do a pretty good job of budgeting when it comes to our travel budget, because we're not like soccer and track and field and some of these other sports where they're eating the whole time. So it's like, hey, we have that weigh-in factor. So we go out and we go buy all their meals and give them all the proper nutrition that they need to, just to fill them throughout the tournament. But it saves us money at the same time when we're buying in bulk. So it allows us to go, to these different restaurants and, let them, eat under a certain budget. But it's still,
I think you got something going for you there, because Coach Booth was saying that they do grocery store sushi, like Fred Meyer sushi. You catch them on a bad day, I think you guys could.
Yeah, hey, go get some of that sushi before we wrestle.
We might have to bring some. Yeah, we want to bring some. Well, Coach, we appreciate you giving us the time, man, and just listening to you. Like I said, I'll tell you, we'd have been connected. I would have really enjoyed coming and working for you, and it sounds like, or at least getting a chance to dive in. I mean, how many chances do kids even get for this? I mean, a lot of the coaches that you have, I mean, you don't get a podcast with them. You don't get to see who they are. You don't get to feel, you get the interview, the visit, and sometimes you might feel like sales job on you a little bit because we only got so much time.
Absolutely.
And now we sat down with you for an hour and 15 minutes and we got to know you, and it feels like you are absolutely the right guy for the job. When I tried a little bit as a journalist or would, and try to get you a little bit, like see what you answer with. And you always went back to, hey, grades, that stuff matters to us, making sure that we're building the right type of athlete. And we're, being close to home is great because you get to see a lot of your friends and your family all the time. But hey, just because we're not, this ain't, we are working here. We have a goal. We're making sure your grades are going to be on point and the right things to build these young men and the women there at the school as well. And it sounds like the girls are doing a great job. And we just really appreciate you for giving us the time and allowing us to get you to be so candid with some of this stuff. Cause I would tell you right now, man, I would have absolutely wrestled, for you. I took third at state. I was not going nowhere. I grew up poor. Okay. My dad barely knew how to get a McDonald's sandwich for breakfast. You know what I mean? So like, I'd have loved coming and wrestling for you, being third in state, really back to the grindstone, on to another 4 years and to really make my life, great, coming out of your tutelage. And I just appreciate you for coming on the podcast.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Sam, you got anything to finish here?
No, man, just same. I'm echoing the same sentiment, Coach. Like you're doing God's work out there in Olympia, and we're going to continue to go to bat for you. We're going to try and promote that program as much as we can. We need it. There's only so many options right now, and we need more. And you guys are pioneering that. And best of luck to you guys in this season. And as you continue this growth, as this ascension into getting a program built, we just wish you all the best. And thanks for coming on with us, brother.
Oh, no problem. Thank you guys for having me, and thank you for doing what you're doing and, helping me make my job easier when it comes to recruiting.
For sure.
That's awesome, Coach. Okay, well, we'll let you go, Coach. See you later. Man, that was really great, man. Coach, it's awesome to see, it really is, he's fun to be around, the right guy, motivates me. I mean, shoot, I want to get back and wrestle. We got EJ here. Good luck. Have a great season to Coach Ford there.
Thanks,
And
EJ.
oh, right here. Thanks, Coach. My boys are thankful for all you and Marcus has done for them. Erica Dennis Clemens, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the comment, and thank you for tuning in. And as you can see, guys, we got we have now rebranded. We have a lot of fun stuff, and trust you, we are working hard.
Yes.
Hard and more Sam than a lot of people, but we got a lot of stuff coming out. We are going to be at the Tahoma High School watching Coach Ford and Coach Booth send the teams that a lot of our kids are eyeing, and it's going to be a fun night, Sam.
Yeah, dude, I'm ecstatic. I mean, back to Coach Ford real quick. Like, I feel like this is kind of long overdue. A part of our mission here with this account and this podcast is to grow the sport within the state of Washington, and Evergreen is a huge part of that. Big Bend is too, even the clubs as well. And so, we need to continue to support these folks. And so anybody who lives in the Olympia area, anybody who has a chance to support these programs as little or as much as they can, all work is good work at this point. We need to continue to grow these programs because the state has too much talent in it to not do that. And I feel like that's a big reason why we started this thing, is to grow these things, grow this program, and Evergreen is one of those cornerstones for us to help grow. And so thanks to Coach Ford for coming on. We wish them the best. I know they're just getting started. It's going to be a rough go, I know, for the first few years with them, just because they're just getting started. But let's show them our support as much as we can. And
then the girls too. I mean,
it's important. Well.
It's important what Coach Ford said is, if your girls are thinking they want to wrestle in college, if they're in 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, juniors in high school, the idea is we're not getting there without freestyle. They got to be in these clubs. We got to get them to wrestle this off-season wrestling, this national, these Fargo type events need to be something that they're thinking about in order to get those girls there. And I know for instance, we had a girl that placed 7th in state, and I said, hey, I know a college you can go to right now. And she's like, I've never wrestled freestyle. And I'm like, man, that's really unfortunate. She's a senior, and it's a little bit tougher just to plop somebody like that on a freestyle wrestling team as dominant as Evergreen State College has been, it sounds like, from what Coach Ford has said. So it's important to get our girls on the freestyle teams. I know it's a little bit of a weird disconnect that Washington State does not wrestle freestyle at the high school level, but nonetheless, I mean, if we want to continue our education within wrestling as well past high school, it's important to get them on the club teams.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to our first renewed podcast. We are the Washington Wrestling Podcast, a part of the Washington Wrestling Network, and we will see you guys next time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.